Come on in, everybody. Agent Locator. Good to see everyone. Look at this. Look at all these. I got some cameras on. Megan Johnson's here. Francis Pierce is here. Samuel Habib, Mark Douglas. Ooh, look at all these cameras popping on. I like it. I feel like maybe you guys have trained with me before. By show of hands, how many of you guys have done one of my trainings before? Raise your hand. I can see your faces. Derek is the only guy. Megan Johnson, you haven't done a training with me yet? Goldie Far Humand used her digital hand. Great, thank you. All right, well, good. So I got a new batch of people here. I might as well let you know who I am. But first, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get us live into the Agent Locator Facebook group first, okay? So give me a second. Mark Douglas is going to sing a song for all of you. He begged, and I said it was okay if he did that. I'm joking. I just like to talk while I'm getting this done, so you guys aren't staring at the screen, just waiting to see what's going to happen. Let's go to Agent Locator. See if it'll let me do it. Is it going to let me do it? No, it says permissions error. I don't know what the deal is. I know they say I can, but then when I try, it doesn't work. All right, Isis, you're on here. You have to coordinate with Agent Locator so that we can definitely log in using my Facebook profile to be able to get into the Agent Locator group. Otherwise, we'll just post the replay. So I'm Dale Archdekin, everybody. I'm the founder of Smart Sales Coaching. What we do, actually, the reason that I started that company is I sold real estate, okay? I had conversations with strangers. I was primarily a listing agent for many years. Not so good on the buyer side, to be honest with you, but I'm a recovering listing agent. I am nicer and kinder to the buyers these days, and I can do a good job with them. But where I came from is selling real estate and then teaching, basically built the #2 team in Philadelphia, top 5 KW mega team at the time, ran the sales department, built and optimized the inside sales department. By show of hands, who does not know what an ISA is for real estate? Show of hands. Thank you, Wolf, for your honest answer, sir, and Chrissy. An ISA is an inside sales agent. They are very common in other industries, and they've been around in real estate for probably the last 10 to 12 years or so. And basically, when you have enough budget and enough leads, you hire a dedicated salesperson to contact your leads, follow up with them, build relationships, nurture them, and set appointments for the outside agents. It's a specialization within a real estate team. And even in some cases, individual agents use them. But long story short, built and optimized those things. And for the last 7 or 8 years, my company has been teaching other teams and brokerages to how to increase their lead conversion, primarily through scripting and dialogue training, as well as implementing inside sales into their companies and or optimizing their sales teams within a team and a brokerage. So I'll show you where our website is if you want to get more information about that before we get into the actual training today. So this is our website, smartsalescoaching.com. If you guys are interested, you all get a 10% discount on our 12-week university, or a boot camp, basically, where you come in for 12 weeks, you get placed in a small group of other agents or ISAs, if you're an ISA, placed with a trainer, and you meet with that trainer once a week and your little group for an hour of intensive training. And what you're going to see me do here today is a little microcosm of what we do in those groups every single week. But we have right now, as of now, we have 220 something people registered for this. We've got 63 people actively live on it. I'm going to be role playing with you. You guys are going to have the opportunity to interact with me. I'm going to teach you some techniques. We're going to practice them. Role playing is voluntary unless I don't get enough volunteers, in which case it's mandatory and I'll call you out. So, but this is what you're going to get, is a little bit of what we do every single week in the training. And on top of that once a week meeting, if you go to class schedule, you also get access to up to 2 additional classes per day, Monday through Friday, being taught live by our professional trainers who work with you. So if that once a week isn't enough and you want to practice more, come to one of these classes, work on some of these supplemental topics. But we can talk more about that at the end. We'll flash the screen again. What we're going to be working on today and I'm going to stop the share, is we're talking about a logical next step. The purpose of working on logical next step is in listening to a lot of agents, in training agents, training ISAs, and listening to a lot of conversations. A lot of agents just end a conversation with a prospect without a really good logical next step, right? And there's 3 pieces to a really good logical next step. So the 3 pieces, and I'm going to show it on the screen, you can write it down, Preeti, is when are we going to talk next? Why are we going to talk next? And what's the lead going to get out of it? Okay. When are we going to talk? Why are we going to talk? And what is the prospect going to get out of it? So I'll demonstrate for you what a logical next step is not. Okay. Hey, Megan, great talking to you. I'm going to send some listings over and we'll go from there. That is not a logical next step. Okay. Hey, got it. I know you need to talk to your spouse about when you guys think you might want to put the property on the market. I'll follow up with you down the road and see where you guys are at. Not a logical next step. Okay. It's super common for salespeople to leave it open-ended that way. What I'm going to teach you today is a quick technique. We're going to do some short ones, right? So the 3 steps, when, why, and what they're going to get out of it. And this is for the ones that you're going to follow up in the short term. And then I'm going to show you a process for a logical next step for people that are much farther out. So let's say you're talking to a prospect, a potential buyer or seller, and they will not transact or do something before, say, next spring, right? They're not going to do anything until April the next year. I'm going to give you a technique that you use to help walk them backwards, create a mutually created process with them that gives you checkpoints along the way to follow up with them. Okay? I feel like I'm putting Mark Douglas to sleep. Are we good? Everybody good? Okay. All right, good. I'm going to get to it. I know. I'm going to hurry up here. Okay, so let's start with the first one. We're going to start with this short one. And here's what I want. I'm going to ask for volunteers first. So there's a little button at the bottom of your screen and it says reactions and it has a smiley face. If you know you want to role play, I want those people who are uncomfortable with talking to strangers, uncomfortable with wrapping up a conversation with somebody who isn't going to meet with you now, right? I want those people who struggle with how do I follow up with somebody and what do I say? So you click the reactions button and you raise your digital hand, okay? So you'll be a role player. Keep your digital hand up. And then I'm going to show you the format we're going to do. And then more of you will probably feel more comfortable volunteering. And there's always people that volunteer, like once they see somebody else do it, they're like, I can do that. I can do better than them. Thank you, Shazad. Shazad is the big winner. He's the first volunteer today. There we go, Hassan. All right, good. Now we're cooking with gas. Mark Douglas knows he needs to role play today, and probably Megan Johnson. All those people that are reacting, probably Chrissy Summer too. Hi, Chrissy. It's just a suggestion, not a requirement. It's always voluntary. Let me go over here. So if I go to this, it's super simple. So here's what we talked about, right? We talked about when we're going to talk next or meet next, why we're going to talk or meet next, and what the prospect will get out of it. So let me just give you an example. And I'll use Shazad as the example. Let's say that, you're a buyer, Shazad, and, you're looking on the internet. It's the first time I've had a conversation with you. I can't get you to meet me face to face yet or go see something because you're waiting until you see something you want to look at, right? Which means I'm just stuck sending you properties. So that might, when I conclude the conversation, it might sound something like, hey, Shazad, all that sounds great. I'm going to take the criteria you gave me. I'm going to send you over properties from my MLS system. It's what feeds the internet. It's where all the listings come from, and even some that you can't see on the internet. I'm going to send those listings over to you. It is 2:15 right now on Tuesday. Here's what I'll do. I'll give you a call tomorrow morning or afternoon just to make sure that you're getting those listings and that I put the criteria in right and that you're getting what you want, or we can add to it or take away. How does that sound, Shazad?
Yes, that's okay.
Okay. Now, we have when we're going to talk next, why we're going to talk next, and what he's going to get out of it. What the benefit is to him. Hold on, I'm going to mute you. There we go. Okay. Cool. You guys all get it? So
Yes.
super simple. All right. So let's practice that. We're going to go around. I need more volunteers. Why do I not? Shazak, keep your hand up. You got to keep your hand up because you're my role player, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Here's what we're going to do. I got Megan. Shazad, put your digital hand back up. I'm going to ask you a question. By show
No,
of
no, I did not. I did not lower it, but somebody lowered it for me.
you know what? Gremlins in the system, man. All these beautiful faces staring at me right now. Donna Barron, Ben Stanton, Billy Conker. There we go. Ben Stanton volunteered. By show of hands, physical hands, who wants to sell 2 more houses each month before the end of this year?
Yeah.
You all just said that you want to role play this. Okay. Now use your digital hand to do that. Because if you practice, first of all, if you don't practice this, you're not going to use it. You're going to smile and you're going to nod. And you're going to be like, oh my God, that guy has amazing hair and cool techniques, but you won't end up using them. I promise you, because you didn't practice them. You have to practice it. You aren't going to go say this stuff to a stranger who can potentially rob you of a commission check. It's scary. You won't do it. You got to practice it. Practice it with me. I'm not going to pay you. I'm not going to buy or sell a house with you. You're already at no with me, okay? I won't buy or sell a house with you, so you can't screw it up. Awesome. Look at that. All I got to do is yell at you a little bit, and we get a lot of volunteers. Okay, thank you for letting me peer pressure you into role-playing today. Awesome. Let's do it. So, scenario is Megan Johnson. I am a buyer lead. I'm not going to do anything or meet with you until I see something I like. You already have my whole who, where, when, and why, and how much. And at this point, you're concluding the call. And it needs to conclude with when we're going to talk next, why we're going to talk next, and what I'm going to get out of it, okay?
Okay.
And go.
In that order.
Well, it can be in any order,
Okay.
but most logically would typically be when, why, and what they're going to get out of it. That's kind of how it flows. But as long as you have those 3 pieces, I don't care in what order.
Okay. So for me in that context, buyer, I'm going to bring number 3 to the front because I'm going to provide you with the listings and that curated cart based on the criteria that we've talked about, essentially. And then what I'm going to do is call you tomorrow at 11 a.m. to make sure that those properties are exactly meeting your criteria. Does 11 a.m. tomorrow work for you?
I'd say that's the when and why, but there needs to be an additional what, because I've already gotten the listings. But what am I going to get out of another interaction with a strange, scary salesperson?
Okay, so I'm already providing essentially this information.
I've already done that, yes.
Okay, so this is a follow-on call. To
You had
make
the
sure.
when, you had the when,
Okay.
which is tomorrow. You had the why, which is to make sure it's the right thing or to make sure you're getting it, right? But
Okay.
what is in it for me? Just because you make sure it's the right thing, how does it benefit me?
Okay, so the next step might be to set up a tour to get out, take a look at some properties.
No, it would be like the benefit to me would be to make sure that you're getting the properties you want to see. It would be to make sure I'm not wasting your time by sending you the wrong stuff. Or it would be to see if you would, in the context of sending properties, let's just say, I don't know, let's say I gave you some kind of personal information that you could then give me some benefit around. Is it clicking for you what I'm going to get out of this next interaction?
So I guess I positioned it as to make sure that the properties are meeting your criteria, but I guess it's like more value. And then I guess from there, as they're meeting your criteria, I usually do it in 2-stage steps. I do a curated list, right? So I go in and I self-select, then I send to the client or prospect, essentially, or lead. And then from there, we have a follow-on conversation to make sure that I understand their overall aesthetic and what types of properties that they prefer.
Why?
Then I put them on
Why?
the
Wait, that second step, why? What do they get
Okay.
out of it when you do that? What do they get out of it when you do that? What do they get out of
Okay.
you making sure that you understand their criteria? What do they get out of it?
I guess to make sure that we can custom tailor their search to make sure that
To help
we
them
truly
find
do
to help
focus on
them
their
find the
next
perfect
dream
home,
property.
to
Yes,
help them find the
perfect.
perfect home, or to shorten the time for them, or whatever it is. Good. So I can tell that you and I process information differently. So let's go through a few of these because I'm getting you, I want to, in this case, with the what are they going to get out of it? It can be concrete, like where your brain wants to go, or it can be sort of an idea or a feeling or whatever that is not where your brain is going right now. Okay, let's go with Mark Douglas. Mark Douglas, I'm a buyer. You got to just send me properties. I'm not going to do anything or meet with you. You know everything about me. I'm not going to do anything until I see something I like.
Hey, Dale, I first want to thank you again for taking the time to speak with me. So what I'm actually going to do for you is in order to make sure that you don't actually end up missing out on that perfect property for you, I'm going to actually go ahead and I'm going to give you a call probably Friday at 3 o'clock. And I'm just going to check in with you just to make sure that you're getting the listings that you're supposed to get. And everything's actually working out and you're not getting anything that you actually don't want to get.
Okay,
Sounds good?
Sounds great. Do it again, Mark. Do it quicker and make it flow together better.
All right, Dale. So what I'm actually going to do for you as of right now is I'm going to set you up on some listings here. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and follow up with you on Friday. So just to make sure that you're getting the listings and you're actually going to be able to not miss out on the properties that you absolutely want to get into at this point in time. That sound good for you?
Ooh, that sounded a lot sexier the second time, right, everybody? Yes, that sounded really much better, Mark. Good job. Excellent. Preeti, let's do it. Same scenario. I'm a buyer. I'm not going to do anything until I see something I like. You got to send me listings and conclude the conversation.
All right, Dale, it was really nice talking to you today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you the listings that you wanted, the areas that you're looking for. I'm going to send them to you around tomorrow evening, around the same time. I'll give you another follow-up call. We will have a conversation once you've seen the listings. At that point, you will then tell me if the criteria fit exactly what you want, if I need to make any changes, anything that will basically make your search much easier, and that'll help me help you figure things out. Sounds good?
Yes. Awesome. Megan, did you hear that? So that it can make my search much easier and help her figure out how to do that, right? That's what I'm getting out of that next touch. Does that make sense? It's kind of like you can't measure that, but it's a what I'm going to get out of it. It's a justification.
The emotional benefit.
Yes. Yeah. And it doesn't just have to be an emotional benefit, but I want to help you be able to throw that kind of stuff in there. Chrissy Summer, same scenario, and then we'll do a different scenario. All you have to do is unmute. We're almost there. I need Jeopardy music to play in the background. Okay, Chrissy's looking for it. Donna Barron. Oh, Chrissy's unmuted. Okay, Chrissy's ready. Donna, you're next. I would be looking for the unmute button.
Actually, I don't know if I am ready. Donna may be better off going first.
No, that means you're perfect, Chrissy. Let's do it. All right. So we had a conversation. You know my who, where, when, why, what, and how much, right? I'm not going to do anything until I see what I want. Until I see something that looks interesting, I'm not going to go out and look at houses. So you need to conclude this conversation and give me a logical next step.
Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fine-tune your search a little bit given the criteria that you've given me, and I'm gonna give you a call back on Saturday just to see if you've seen anything more of interest.
See if you've seen anything more of interest. You've got the when and the why, but what am I gonna get out of you seeing if I've seen anything of interest? Why would I care? Why would I care? Sorry, go ahead.
That they're getting the right type of properties.
Okay.
Go take a look at something.
Yes, that could be a benefit to me. Yes. I want to just make sure that everybody's getting this concept, right? What do you all do for a living?
Mm-hmm.
Salespeople, right? We're salespeople. Do you ever in your normal life want to interact with a salesperson if you don't A, want to buy or sell something, or B, have a burning question you need answered? No, the answer is pretty much not, unless you're married to them. And even in some cases, the answer is still no, right? Okay, so that's why I'm putting in, what are you going to get out of having another interaction with a salesperson in a lot of cases before you're ready to have that interaction? Okay, so Chrissy, does it make sense?
Yeah, but it doesn't sound like they're getting much from what I just said.
Right, exactly. So there needs to be something else. You just needed to add a little bit more to it. Do it one more time.
Well, what is this something else?
It's to make sure I'm not wasting your time, to make sure that we don't miss the perfect home for you potentially, or to make sure that, to see what you'd like to add in your search. Maybe you came up with some new criteria that needs to be added to it. So to make sure you're getting exactly what you want to see.
Okay.
Can you feel that little bit more value there of the, like, what's in it for me?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool. Let's just do it one more time.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to fine-tune your search a little bit, and I will give you a call back on Saturday afternoon. Does Saturday afternoon work for you?
Sure. To do what?
Just to make sure you're getting the right type of properties that are of interest to you.
Okay, good. We're getting the pieces. And, I made, I forget his name already, but I made the other guy practice it. These are the things that you have to practice, right?
Okay.
You've got to, and good job. I want to applaud you. Everybody applaud Chrissy. She let me bully her into doing it right now, even when she said she wasn't ready. But good job. Unfortunately, our leads don't wait till we're ready. So doing it uncomfortable really is teaching you a lot. So great job stepping up and doing it. Donna.
Dale, may I ask a question
Sure.
there? So do we need to tie down with day and time, or is just day okay? Or how do you feel about that general time of day? What's your recommendation?
So I would say in context, whatever the conversation is you're having with somebody, you don't always have to do it exactly the same way. Megan, if I'm speaking to somebody like you who appears, so far, I've known you all of, 5 minutes. You appear to be a little bit more analytical. What I'd probably do is I would say, hey, Megan, would you be available either tomorrow or Thursday for us to have a quick call? I'm going to leave it broad, because if I say to you in analytical, Megan, can I call you tomorrow at noon? You're literally going to do the math on whether you can speak to me tomorrow at 12 p.m. your time zone. And that is where your answer is going to come from, right? Precisely. Versus somebody who's looser. And I can say, I can give you a call tomorrow afternoon, right? Based on their personality type. And they'll say yes, but that can mean 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. to them, right? That isn't like, it's relative. So to answer your question, you don't have to do it exactly one way, but it's best if you can end up with some sort of agreement that works for both you and the lead, that includes the when, which would be relatively soon or within a logical span of time, and around a time frame, if not an exact time. So that's what you're shooting for. Now, how you get there verbally that's just the magic of persuasion and conversation. Okay, cool. Donna Barron, we're going to go to a new scenario. Donna, I'm not going to make it easy on you, okay? Or we're going to switch up to a new one.
All right.
All right. Okay, so I have, well, I guess, we could probably use the same one with this. Let's use the same scenario, because honestly, this first one works for your first interaction with a buyer. So let's do the first one, Donna, and then actually I want to come around and we'll do whatever the follow-up conversation is, okay? And see what you guys do there. So let's do that. Donna, same scenario. You know my who, where, when, why, what, and how much. Not going to be buying, not going to be meeting or doing anything until I see something I like.
Okay, very good. Hi, this is Donna. I'm with Remax.
Hold on, Donna. Donna,
Hi.
we're past all that. All the niceties, all the get to know yous. You know my whole scenario. You know my who, where, what. You know all that. We're about to conclude this conversation.
Oh. Okay.
And you need to establish a logical next step with me. What are you going to do? When are we going to talk next? Why are we going to talk next? And what am I going to get out of it?
Okay. Well, I've set you up on a search and you've been receiving a few listings, but I like to tailor those to fit your need. So I'd really like to set up an appointment to call you again. I'd like you to take a look at those and go through them. And then I can call you in, let's say 2 days. So let's make it Thursday at between 2 and 4. And we'll talk about the listings that I'm sending and see if there's anything that I can do to restructure those so that they fit your needs better. Would that work for you?
Excellent, Donna. All 3 pieces. Congratulations. You got it all in there. Did you write that down while we were talking, or is this just natural for you?
That's natural. No, I didn't.
All right, good. Yeah, you got them all in there. Great. Excellent. All right, let's go. Let's do this. Ben Stanton. You've role played with me before, right? Okay. So we're gonna turn up the heat on Ben because he's done this before. So Ben, let's do the first. We've had our first conversation. We're concluding our first conversation just like everyone else did.
Okay.
So you're going to establish a when we'll talk next, why we'll talk next, and what I'll get out of it.
Okay. So Dale, it sounds like you have a specific property type that you're looking for, and I want to make sure I'm not wasting your time. So let's set a call for tomorrow, let's say 7 p.m. and I can go through those properties with you. You can let me know which ones fit your criteria. That way, we can get the ball rolling and we won't waste any of your time with those properties that don't fit the criteria. How does that
All
sound?
right. That sounds good, Ben. You got all 3 pieces in there. Now here's the real challenge. Let's go again. And you've made that call. You've called me, right?
Yeah.
You've asked me about the properties, whether I've seen anything I liked. I haven't seen anything I liked. I'm getting the right properties. And we need to conclude this call. So how are you going to, what's the next step, man? When are you going to contact me next? Why are you going to contact me next? And what am I going to get out of it?
Yes. So Dale, looks like none of these properties have been a good match for you. So I think what we should do next is when something pops up that does meet your criteria, and typically things are popping up every week. How about I give you a shout at the end of next week, Friday, say around 5 o'clock, and I can go through the listings that have come up next week, that are fresh to the market, and that way you're not going to miss out on any new opportunities that pop up. How does that sound?
All right, good job. I put you on the spot, Ben. Applause from everybody. Good job, Ben. All right, you guys all get the point here, right? Whether you're talking to a buyer or you're talking to a seller, the whole point is that it needs to be when we're going to talk next, why we're going to talk next, and what the lead is going to get out of it. Wolf, I know you said that you felt on. Did you want to do this one before we move on to the more complicated one?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
All right. So same scenario. Buyer lead from your website, your amazing agent locator site, right? We have a conversation. You know everything about me, my who, where, when, why, what, and how much. I'm not going to do anything until I see something I like, and you need to set a logical next step. A quick question. Are you guys lowering your hands, or is the system doing that? Because somebody else said that it lowered their hand.
Yeah,
The
lowered
system's
my
doing
hand
it.
once we talk.
You did. Okay, got it. You got my role players. You guys can keep your hands up because you're my people that I know I can go to. So if you just keep them up, I mean, right now I kind of know your names and faces, but you are my interaction crowd. All right, Wolf, let's do it. Take it away.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Dale. So I'm going to be sending you this list of properties in the area that you've selected. And would it be okay if I called you on Wednesday at, say, 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. be better?
Okay, now here's the problem with them. You're a scary salesperson who just asked to talk to me again, but I don't know why we're going to talk or what I'm going to get out of it.
Okay.
So it's less likely that I'm going to say yes to you, or I might just yes you and actually not take the call.
Okay.
All right.
So to clean that up or just carry on?
Here's what I would do. What you said is, Dale, can I sell you something? And if you say yes to me selling you something, I'll tell you what it is and I'll tell you how it benefits you. Right?
Right.
So don't ask me if you can sell me something, which is, can I talk to you again? Until you've told me why we're going to do it and what I'm going to get out of it.
All right. Okay, let's try this. Let's say Dale, I sent you a bunch of information, which I think you want to review. Once you've had a chance to look at them, maybe talk them over with your your spouse, then you might be interested to have some questions on that. So would it be okay if I followed up with you Wednesday at 6 or 7 be better just to review those questions?
And what am I going to get out of reviewing questions with you? Just get that little piece on there.
Right. So in order to have the conversation, I get to know you a little better, then I could nail down maybe more precisely the kind of home that you're really looking for between the two of you. Then the benefit is then we can maybe talk about viewing them, because the home is like a book. You can't see the inside until you get in there and feel it.
Okay, good. Now, Wolf, so the first way that you did it, which is, hey, I'm going to send you properties. Can I give you a call on Wednesday? Right? It's blind. I don't know why you want to talk on Wednesday. I don't know what I'm going to get out of it. If you're primarily working sphere or repeat clients, past clients, people that know you, that already have a know, like, and trust with you, then that's perfect. It works, right? It's always worked for you. But here's what I can tell you, especially for strangers, for people who don't know you or haven't transacted with you, that sort of blind ask for their time, I'm telling you the resistance and the questions that they have in their mind, right? Which is, I don't know, why do I need to interact with this guy again? What am I going to get out of it? It takes time up. He's probably just going to try to convince me to buy something or sell something, right? That goes on in their mind. And so you have to give them the, why are we doing this and what are you going to get out of it, to justify that ask.
Can I suggest something?
Sure.
Hey, hi, my name is George Speropoulos. I have a company called Buyers Broker, and I represent buyers 90% of the time. And this is my suggestion. By the way, thank you very much, because every Zoom meeting, I always learn something. So I'm very grateful.
Thank you.
So how I approach them, and if you don't mind, if I could give my 2 cents.
Go for it. I want $1, George. Give me $1, not 2 cents. Don't be cheap.
So Dale, my name is George. I represent buyers. And why I represent buyers is because in order to understand what they want, I know what I want. I'm here to express to you that every single investment that has been done, in order to profit, you must learn how to buy. And learning how to buy, you have to know what's active on the market, what has expired on the market, and what is sold on the market. I give you information so you can make a proper investment. And once you buy right, you sell, and then you profit, not the reverse. I have a time opening this Thursday at 1 o'clock, Friday at 10:30, and Monday at 12 o'clock. Which of the 3 times would you like to meet with me?
All right, I love it, George. Now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to shoot you down.
Anytime.
And you have to come up with a logical next step for me, okay?
Shoot. Go ahead.
George, I appreciate it, man. We're not ready for that right now. I'll reach out to you when we're ready to talk about that and take it further.
That is excellent. I appreciate your time. I have one question for you. What does 10 minutes differ in your life today versus in 3 months from now?
Okay, that's a close. Good close. I don't want to close. I want a logical next step. I want what you're going to do when you get to the point where you cannot move the prospect forward in the way that you want. If I'm not going to agree to any of your closes, not going to do what you want, what is your logical next step for following? What's the next touch you're going to have with me if you can't get what you want?
Excellent. If you don't mind, Dale, once a month, I send out an email informing our potential investors, our current investors, and our past investors of valuable information of market swings that happen in your local area.
Okay.
Would you allow me to send you an email?
Sure.
Perfect. After that, sometimes, it takes a prospect to close in 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. But the commission that we make out of this, right, Dale, is large enough to say that, even if we close in 6 months, not including notary, it's still a great information. But I also
Are we still
throw
role-playing?
in once in a while. Can you
Are we still role-playing, George? I'm not sure. Is that what you're telling the prospect or you're telling me?
I was telling you, this is how I sometimes I work with them. Either I send them an email And
Okay.
I asked him if he have any other prospects or something of that nature, but
Okay,
depending
but-
on the breadth of the interview.
Okay, so you're going to send them an email. I agreed to the email. When are we going to talk next? Why are we going to talk next? What am I going to get out of it?
Well, I just mentioned to you, right, that what I'm planning to do. Okay, so I'm recapping. So if I were you, Dale, I will send you an email detailing what we discussed today, the opportunity to send you an email so you could be very informed of certain products in your local market.
Okay.
And in 2 months' time, I'll give you a call back again.
2 months time?
I'm okay with it because
Okay.
if I say 4 weeks or 3 weeks, I don't want to make them feel pressured. I might call them in 2 months' time, but in reality, I'll probably call them in 5.
Okay, got it. George, thank you for demonstrating that. Here's some feedback that I could give you. Tighten up your when, why, and what. 2 months is a big span, and you can potentially lose people. Everybody has a website in your market, or most people's markets, right? And if you can create some reason to interact with them that gives them value in a shorter period of time, it will help you solidify the relationship with them. You guys all get that? You need to create that value. Okay, good. Thanks for demonstrating that. Let's go to the big one, like next spring. This is the tough one. This one we teach. This is one that you have to do repetitively, and it's best if you work with one of our trainers. I'm going to try and teach it to you here, but in 10 or 12 minutes, you're not going to master this. Let me show it to you. All right. And this logical next step really is designed to help a prospect. Let me go to the right tab. With these windows open, it's hard to find the right tab. Here you go. You see this one here? So I'm going to make my screen bigger and zoom in for you. Basically, when you have somebody, you guys are familiar talking to prospects who are like, oh, I'm not going to be buying until the spring, not listing until the spring or the fall, or whatever is, say, beyond 6 months, right? Somewhere between 6 months to a year out. When you talk to those people, have you ever noticed that when they talk about buying or selling, it's like this singular event that's just going to happen at some point out in the future and doesn't have a whole lot of details around it? But what we know typically is that from the time that somebody decides to buy a house, on average, it takes somewhere between 2 to 3 months or so before they actually go to settlement, right? And generally, when somebody decides to sell their home, it can take at least a month or so just to even get it ready to put on the market. And then it can take another 2 months or so to actually get to settlement. So either way, there's actually a much bigger span of time that people have when they get into that process. But when you're talking to somebody so far out, they've condensed it just down to the singular moment. And so what this is designed to do is to break that open and do a mutually created timeline into the future, right? So what that might sound like is, let's say that I'm talking to Francis Pierce, right? Francis says, oh, I'm not going to be buying until the spring of next year. What I'm going to do is I'm going to nail down the time frame in the spring of next year as close as I can. And then I'm going to work her backwards in 4 stages. And those 4 stages, if you can remember these, are keys in hand, find the perfect home, serious shopping, and meet with an agent, right? Those are the basic kind of time frames or the basic kind of waypoints that you have to hit in a transaction for buying, right? So I'm going to break it open. I'm going to take them backwards. Let's do this. Actually, let's go with, I want to role play with somebody live. Ben Stanton. I'm going to have you play along only because Ben has role played with me before. So keep it vanilla, Ben. You're going to be buying next spring. Okay. Nothing weird. Don't give me curveballs. I just want to demonstrate how this sounds. Okay. So Ben, tell me that you're not going to be buying until next spring.
Hey, Dale. Yeah, thanks. We're not really in the market right now. We're going to wait till next spring.
Got it. Okay. Next spring. Now, I would have some other questions for him in some of our other training, but just to show you how this works, I'm going to nail down the end time and not do any of the other fancy stuff we do. So Ben, when you say the spring, what month are you thinking that you guys would want to be moved in?
April, May.
Okay. Got it. Let's say May 1st, Ben. If you were shooting to have keys in hand May 1st, is that something that you think would work for you and your family?
Yeah, that fits Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, if you want to have keys in hand by May 1st, say, if you were shooting for that, we know that it takes somewhere between a month to a month and a half to get through the whole process of inspections and mortgage and financing and all that red tape. And so if you want keys in hand by, say, May 1st, then that can mean that you probably would need to find the perfect home by, say, mid-April. Is that something that would work for you?
Yeah. I didn't even think about it, but yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Maybe,
great.
yeah.
And
Okay.
if we know that you would need to find the perfect home by, say, mid-April, it usually takes buyers on average about a month of serious shopping before they find that perfect home that they want to purchase. So that means that you may want to even start your serious shopping as early as mid-March. Is that something that would work for you guys?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, maybe even beginning of March, mid-March. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, okay, great. So if you need to start serious shopping by the beginning or mid-March, when would you want to meet with an agent, lay out a game plan to help find that perfect home and get a great deal on it?
Well, if we need to start shopping in mid-March, then maybe, the beginning of March, or can we meet in the middle of March? When we
Probably
start
the beginning
shopping?
of March. Beginning of March would make the most sense. That'll give us a couple of weeks to get everything in order and get started. Great. So now everybody, did you hear I walked them back over the 4 steps, right? Keys in hand, find the perfect home, start serious shopping, meet with an agent. Those 4 pieces. I broke it. I didn't just dump it all on him, right? I didn't just say it all and then ask him to agree to it. I said, hey, if you want keys in hand here, and it takes this stuff, you probably need to find the perfect home here. And I asked him if he would agree, and he agreed. And then I said, okay, if you need to find the perfect home here, then it's probably going to take this much time of serious shopping. Will you agree to start serious shopping at this point? He said, yes. I'm cracking the door open slowly, because here's what happens. If I'm talking to a prospect's like, no, not gonna be buying until spring. Okay, great. Well, hey, listen, we should probably talk like early March, because it's gonna take a while, get stuff ready, look at houses, then you put something under agreement, inspections, mortgage, all that stuff. By then, you can close by May 1. And all the prospect heard was, wah, 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 wah. I want you to do something different, right? That's what they heard. Scary salesperson is saying a lot of words. And I said next spring and they said March. I don't know how that makes sense, right? That's what happens. If you do it like this instead, you co-create it with them. You take them back over the steps. Okay, so who wants to try that? I think we can do 1 or 2 of these before we end for today. Let me see here. Samuel, you want to do it?
Yes.
You're a brave man, Samuel. All right. You're going to start with keys in hand. You're going to nail down when I want to be there. And you're going to work me back in stages, okay?
Yes, sure.
All right. So, yeah, Samuel, I'm not buying till the spring.
That's right, Dale. May I ask you a few questions if you don't mind?
I do mind, Samuel. That's a terrible question.
Okay.
Do it again.
Okay, so then to have keys in hand and get your dream home door and walk inside the house, what's a good time for you to get that?
I don't know, probably May, beginning of May.
Perfect. So if you get the keys in hand beginning of May, we need to start finding finding the right home. Before that, you have to get the bank approval, mortgage approval, inspection done. At least I would say months and a half before end of May, beginning of May. Correct? Do you agree?
Sure.
And for that to happen, we have to start searching and find the right home for you. And that takes between 30 days and 45 days in the market. Do you agree?
Okay, I do. All right.
So for that to happen also,
when would that? So when do we start serious shopping then?
so we need to find the right agent, work with you first, and then find exactly the criteria for search the market, find the right house, put an offer, and that is 30 days before that, correct?
You talk really fast and you ask me to agree before I understand everything you're saying. That's some honest feedback for you.
Okay.
Are you doing business primarily with English speakers or non-English speakers?
Non-English.
Non-English. Okay, great. Then I give you a pass. For me, you're talking fast. Good. You have the concept. So if that way of structuring things works for the clientele that you're working with, excellent. But you get the idea. Good job. Who else wants? I got one more person. Nashin. All right, Nashin, I'm not going to be buying until the spring.
I'm actually dealing with a client right now who's talked to me on the phone, and her timeline is 4 months. She wants to be in a new house in 4 months, but she's not willing to set up an appointment with me. So I would love to meet her in person and take her out one day. Dale, you mentioned to me that you're hoping to buy soon. Do you have a timeline in mind? When do you see yourself in your new home?
I don't know, maybe by early May next year.
Okay. In order for you to maybe settle down in your new home by May, you may want to think about just maybe the process that it takes to settle in your new home. As you know, there are some legal aspects that the lawyers need to do. They need some time to fulfill that. And then before that, there would be some serious shopping that you would need to meet with me with, and we can go out and see the homes together. And it may take a month to 2 months to do that. So that would set us up for February or March. I think that it would be a good idea to meet prior to that so that we can be on the same page and work out a game plan to execute that. Dale, you have to give me a closing. I'm just not sure how to close this.
Okay, I'm going to give you 2 pieces of feedback.
Sure.
One, you took beginning of May and you talked all over me and stuck it all together, right?
Sure. Sure.
Without me agreeing to anything, you just dumped it all on me. You didn't check in with me. I didn't agree. You didn't break it in stages. And then at the end, you said you're going to need to meet with an agent. So you literally went all the way through the thing without any feedback from me or any agreement. So you have to make it dumber. It has to be dumber. Okay.
Okay.
And listen to this. It has to sound like kindergarten, because these people's brain is way out there. I don't want to think about all of this way out there. And if you dump all that stuff on me right now, I'm resistant to hearing it. So if I make it dumb, Nashin, if you want your keys in hand by May, you need to find the perfect home by whatever, mid-April. And if you need to find the home by mid-April, the perfect home, you need to start serious shopping by mid-March. And if you need to start serious shopping by mid-March, when do you want to meet with it? So you hear me repeating it and taking it slow, right? So that you understand the pieces in your brain. And I would also check in with them, right? Nashin, if you want your keys in hand by May 1st, you need to find the perfect home by mid-April for these reasons. Would that make sense for you? Question comes to you. You answer me or you give me resistance, right? And then I repeat myself again. So if you need to find the perfect home by mid-April, you need to start serious shopping by mid-March for these reasons. Do you agree to that, Nashin? Does that work for you? I forget his name, the gentleman that went before you. Although he was doing it really fast, he was doing the same thing that I'm doing. It's just he was doing it faster, right? Much faster. Where he's breaking it into pieces. Here's this piece. Here's the next piece and why. Do you agree? Okay, you agree. Here's the next piece and why. Do you agree? Yes, you agree. Great. Here's the next piece and why. So that's the format here. When you're trying to get somebody to agree with you, or when you're trying to get somebody to see where you're going and understand it's sort of like, I can't really come up with a good analogy. If you imagine that the prospect you're talking to is reading a comic book and you are reading from a novel, you can't say, oh, take this, it's much better, and here's why my big ass complicated novel is so much better. Like, no, I'm going to stick with the comic book. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. You got to ease them into it. All right. Good, everybody. Who enjoyed this? Was this fun? Nice, Mark Barbosa. I'm glad that you enjoyed this. So listen, this is just a little microcosm of what we do every single week in training to help you improve your conversations, convert more people, set more appointments with the fewer buyers and sellers out there who are actually going to transact. So we dropped the link to the website. Come check us out. It's a 12-week intensive. You can go month to month with us after that. But those who do training, those who invest in themselves, those who up their skills are the ones who are going to be here in this industry for the long haul. It's how I've been here for close to 2 decades, right? Is by improving what I do and beating my competitors. All right. Good, everybody? Good seeing all of you.